On Monday, a Republican pollster predicted a very bad day for Trump and the GOP in Tuesday's elections. Take a look.
We're on the eve of a big political day. Tomorrow, some key off-year elections are set to give us a new gauge on how Americans are feeling. A new CNN poll, though, gives us a sneak peek, and the data finds that President Trump's approval rating has now dropped to 37%, his lowest this term.
Democrats also showing a very early advantage when it comes to motivation. 67% of Dem and Dem-leaning Americans say they're extremely motivated to vote in the next election, compared to 46% for Republicans. With us now is pollster and communications strategist Frank Luntz. All right, Frank, how much of tomorrow's election is going to be about Donald Trump and how people feel about the first 9 months of his second term?
I do believe that Republicans are going to have a bad day tomorrow. But the one that matters the most for the country is the vote in California, whether or not they're going to change the laws for redistricting. And that could mean as much as a 5-seat Democratic gain, 5-seat Republican loss, if Gavin Newsom is successful in his ballot initiative. At this point, I think he will be. And that's going to send shockwaves across the country as people begin to look at what's going to happen a year from now. I do believe Democrats win the governorship in New Jersey and Virginia. A socialist is going to be elected mayor of New York. But the one that I'm going to be watching most carefully is California.
So in California, there's Prop 50, okay? Now, that is a response, by the way, to Texas's attempt to gerrymander. So, look, Gavin Newsom, for all the negative things that I've said about him, because there are some pretty big negatives with him, like throwing, for example, trans people under the bus, at least you could say, the guy's fighting back against Trump. Okay, and Republicans, by the way, when he's not, like, agreeing with them, again, on transgender people and the unhoused population. Okay, again, this I'm not going to go into detail about why I hate Gavin Newsom, because I'm actually trying to give him credit here. All right, it's hard to do, I know, but look, the reason that he's doing Prop 50 in California is because of Texas. Texas, again, Greg Abbott's like, we're going to rig the elections, we're going to rig the midterms to make sure that, the House of Representatives gets fully stocked with as many Republicans as possible. Okay, and we're going to do it by disenfranchising black people. Black Americans, we're going to screw you over, ha ha, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, Newsom says, actually, there is something that we can do about it. I'm going to do some gerrymandering here, but this time we're going to put it up to the voters in order to decide whether or not we should do this. So that's Prop 50, okay? Now, fighting back is what a lot of Democrats want to see from their elected officials. And so that's why Newsom has gotten a lot of credit for doing what he is doing. And why a lot of the current Democratic leadership in the party, the National Party specifically, is getting a lot of, there's a lot of people that are frustrated at them, and they're being criticized, okay? And so, look, these so-called moderate blue dog Democrat, I don't know if blue dog, if they're technically around anymore, but they, these so-called moderate Democrats, okay, they keep voting, like doing things to, like, voting to confirm Trump's judicial nominees, for example, okay? People like Tim Kaine, okay, who was, for the last few years, kind of felt like this guy was on a milk carton ever since, like, 2016, okay? When he was, remember the time when he was Hillary Clinton's vice presidential pick? Yeah, that Tim Kaine. He's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to vote for one of Donald Trump's judicial nominees. Along with him, you've got Adam Schiff, Dick Durbin, Maggie Hassan, Gary Peters, and a few others, okay? They joined in with Republicans to confirm Harold Moody, okay? A man who refused to provide a direct answer as to who won the 2020 elections. That's a really simple answer, okay? Joe Biden won the election. He won it fair and square. And this guy danced around it. Was like, well, you know, the people who were confirmed the guy, but he didn't really. Yes, okay, whatever. Let's move on, please. Let's move on. He also skirted answering any questions about the Capitol riots, okay, and whether or not Donald Trump incited them. So that the fact that this guy could get confirmed by Democrats, 13 Democrats voted to confirm that guy. This is why Democratic voters are pissed off, okay? They're still helping Donald Trump with his takeover of the judiciary, okay? They're not, these Democrats, they are not the resistance. Amy Klobuchar is also one of them, by the way. They're not the resistance, okay? They're the assistants. And if you were assisting fascists, guess what that makes you? You're a fascist, okay? If you're a fascist enabler, you're a fascist, period, okay? It's just like when you go into a room, all right, and you sit at a table with, with 9 people and they're all Nazis. You know how many Nazis are at the table? 10. That's it. So now that said, some of those same people, right? Some of those same Democrats are now looking possibly to fold to Republicans in the government shutdown. No, don't do it. Do not give Republicans what they want.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be the assistants. If you want to be an opposition party, then, I don't know, be an opposition party. Now, anyway, getting back to Frank Luntz, okay? Now, on the shutdown and the politics that are surrounding it, Luntz offers a little bit more insight.
This is the breaking point. When you don't pay our men and women in uniform, and they have to go without their weekly paychecks, and you start to have people who cannot afford their food and fuel, then it starts to have an impact. And then people start to say, why is this happening? I believe that the shutdown is politically motivated. I believe that if they wanted to, they could find common ground, but they choose not to. And that has hurt the Republican brand, the Republican reputation. Their numbers are down, as you point out in your own polling of Donald Trump. But the numbers that have fallen the worst, to my surprise, are the Democrats. Everyone is being hurt by this. Everyone's credibility and respect, and looking at the government, and the public just looks at this and says, why? Why can't you find some agreement? Why can't you give? Why can't you cooperate? And that's going to be a very big question Wednesday and Thursday when this election is over. It is hurting the Republicans.
Luntz added that, hey, we're soon going to be reaching a breaking point where the public just says, to hell with you all. All right. Again, now, he talks about Democrats and the people having problems with them too. And I already mentioned that, okay? Overall, though, I'm not surprised that he brings that up because Luntz is a Republican pollster. Of course, he's going to talk about Democrats, right? But the important thing to take away from this is that he's also admitting that, man, Republicans, we're in big trouble. Oh, we are in big, big trouble. This is not good. All right. And he has the data, he has the polling to back it up. And that is very, very significant because, look, I know that a lot of MAGA does not believe in polling or facts or evidence or whatever, right? But trust me on this, all right? When I say facts don't care about your feelings, all right? They don't care about Republican feelings. They don't care about Trump's feelings, all right? Now, this election, though, is based on a lot of feelings. The feelings that the American people are not doing well, okay? We're all pretty pissed off, okay? And the fact that Trump's policies, like the tariffs, for example, have been making everyone's lives more difficult, except for the very wealthy, all right? Who are doing better than ever. The collective wealth of the top 10 billionaires in this country have actually increased by $698 billion. The top 1% of households gained 101 times more wealth than the median household during that same time period, and 987 times the wealth of a household at the bottom 20%. People are not doing well, all right? In fact, about 40% of the U.S. population now, including nearly 50% of children, are now considered low income. Oops. And what's Donald Trump doing right now? Dude is building a freaking ballroom and throwing great Gatsby parties while saying, oh, everything's great now. Well, you know what? For him, it is. The guy's made billions of dollars since getting reelected, along with his rich friends. Elon Musk's probably going to be the first trillionaire. Oh, and by the way, Trump has also managed to stay out of prison. Yeah, of course he's thrilled. Of course. But nobody else is. Regular people aren't thrilled. Regular people are doing terribly. And so, this is, by the way, this is what we've been warning about. And now, a lot of people that we've warned that dismissed us are realizing, oh God, it turns out that they were right. Oh, well, these people weren't kidding. Oh my God, it turns out they didn't have TDS. It turns out we were wrong. Trump didn't make things cheaper day one. But now these same people are going to the ballot box and may end up showing the Republicans and the establishment Democrats just how pissed off they really are. These elections, and I know they're only in a few states, right? But these elections are a preview of what 2026, the midterms, might look like. And that's why so many people in the political space are paying attention to it right now. Speaking of elections that people are paying attention to, one of the big ones is the New York mayoral election, which is here. It is today. And I'm going to be talking about that coming up in the next segment. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.